me actually just talk about.
STX 소울팀은 아까 말씀드린 대로 스타 1에서의 전반전 기록이 그렇게 좋지는 않습니다. 스타 2 굉장히 잘하는 팀인데 스타 1에서
Am I wrong? Did he not play TBT? He played TBT in StarCraft 2. That's not what I'm talking about. Alright, apparently I'm just stupid.
스타 1에서 출격하는 선수들이 대부분 강한 면모를 보이고 있는 만큼 이 강한 면모를 보이고 있는 선수를 상대로 김도우 선수라든가 나머지 선수들이 전반전에서 이겨주게 된다면
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
때 압승을 거둘 수 있는 이런 분위기가 STX 소울팀에게 나올 것 같습니다.
항상 그 전반전에 좀 아쉬운 그림들이 있었던 소울인데 자, 김도우
Anyway, oh, it's gonna be against Fantasy. Okay, this should be good then. Oh man, alright, this went from like TBT into oh yeah TBT. Fantasy. This guy's got some good TBT, and he's got exciting TBT as well. It's not like the boring TBT where you just sit in your base until you're max. Fantasy man, show us some terrorist vultures.
어떤 모습을 보여주게 될지 정명훈 선수 오늘 1세트를 기다리고 있습니다. 자, 정명훈 선수와 김도우 선수 오늘 1세트 양 선수
Fantasy, of course.
끝났습니다. 바로 1세트가
Recently went to the MLG Kespa tournament thing. And according to Ket's blog, he's apparently good at charming few Korean girls. Go figure. Alright, here we go. What is the map? I don't know. It's probably no, it's probably Electric Circuit. No. Sniper Ridge. Damn it, I was right the first time. Ah! That was pretty good though, guys. You gotta admit, that was pretty good. For someone who doesn't read the Korean, guessing that map. Pretty sick. Hey, it looks like Classic's gonna be the orange Terran at the bottom left. That would make Fantasy be red Terran. At the top right. Not to be confused with Classic's red hair. Yoink. Alright, cool. So, it's going to be a cross-map TBT on Sniper Ridge. This could mean a pretty long game. Although we have seen some pretty nice TBTs on this map. So yeah, pretty pumped for that. What's up, commentary guy? Alright, good. So, both players not doing any kind of cheese, both doing the good old make STV's mind a little bit faster depot. And looks like Bunky's just chilling. Oh man, he is pumped. Oh man, somebody stop giving that guy Red Bull. Seriously. Stop giving Bunky energy drinks. That is of course the SKT mascot for anyone who wasn't aware. SKT1 best mascot. Meanwhile, looks like Barracks going up. Both players' bases. Neither player putting it like right on the edge of their base. We have seen that quite a bit on this map, where you just like stick it right on the edge, make a marine, and then float it out. Both players just kind of building it at the top of their ramp, which is fine. And it looks like an SCV scout going out for Classic. No scout just yet for Fantasy. He has gotten his gas. No gas yet for Classic. Makes me believe it's probably going to be a 1-Rex expand. That might also be why he's scouting so quickly here. Yeah, just going to check the middle for Proxy Barracks. Pretty interesting though that he's doing that. I mean, I would not expect Fantasy to BBS in a TBT like ever. Has Fantasy ever BBS in a TBT in a televised match? Because I can't recall any game that he has. Especially because like his TBT is very strong anyway. Like he doesn't need to cheese. You know, he can match up with Flash easily. Anyway, and if you guys hear a loud noise coming from outside, I think it's a garbage truck driving on by. Good times, good times. Anyway, factory on the way, and it was a 1-Rax expand from Classic. Just gonna have a small eco lead. And let's see what Fantasy does when he sees this. He's actually, oh, but he's not going to see it for a while, because look at this, Fantasy actually scouted to the bottom right first, and now he's scouting cross map, so he's going to scout Classic dead last here, which is not going to be ideal for him. And I think that's also going to mean he won't even have time to like immediately throw down a starport or anything, because yeah, look at this, the factory's about to finish. He's going to get to the top left, he's not going to see anything there, so wow. If his SCB had just went straight to the bottom left, he would have seen the 1-Rax expand as soon as his factory finished, and he could have perhaps thrown down like a starport to maybe do some drop ultra harass or something, but now he's just expanding behind off one factory, and that's just not ideal for him. So now I don't really think there's too much he can do about this. He's just going to have to take it, play from behind. Not a huge deal though, considering how strong Fantasy's TVT is in general.
게다가 이미 김도우 선수의 정면은 가로막혀져 있습니다. 지금 상황을 정확하게 파악하기가 좀 어려운 정명훈 선수.
And it looks like the first vulture's moving out, but there is already a bunker up for Classic, and he's adding on his 2 factories as usual. Get that second factory about like, you know, 75% on the first factory, maybe a little bit earlier, 60%. I always think of 60% because when you do the Joyo rush, like the Joyo 2 fact, you get your second factory at like 60% first fact. I used to do that all the time on IC Cup Ladder, just Joyo 2 fact to everybody. It was so sick, because it's such an easy timing to do. Because if you get your second factory at like 60% first factory, you can get your second and third tank out like simultaneously. It's pretty sweet. I felt so ghosty when I did it. Anyways, first of all, just gonna chill. It's gonna deny any SCV scouting. Looks like Fantasy just now started mining from his natural. It's also got a second factory on the way. And it's like a starport on the way for Classic, something I would have expected to see from Fantasy instead. Perhaps he still will get one, but he's just a little bit behind. Looks like, no, he's just going for the double machine shops here. And we are lagging it up. It's like an armory for Fantasy. So Fantasy actually not going to go for any kind of fancy drop harass. Just fine. Just going to start laying some mines here at the expansion locations of Classic. Looks like he's already laid some mines on that ridge outside Classic's natural. So Classic got to be a little bit careful when he's moving out. Of course, with Terran Mech, you can generally A-move across minefields because of the instant shot. But if you're attacking onto that ridge, there is the mischance, there is the lack of vision, so it is a little bit trickier. Sorry about the lag, by the way. I will try and buy thicker LAN cables so we get more internet. Anyway, looks like Fantasy gonna start scouting around with his barracks, gonna take out the scouting SCP in his own main. He seems to have, oh, okay. Well, that's actually very interesting. Look at the minimap. He's actually laid like really pretty looking mine placements. Not sure if that's the most effective, but it looks quite nice, looks quite balanced out. Team got a couple of mines, I believe, at the top of that narrow ramp by the third. That'll be quite useful. A couple of Goliaths coming out now. He's got to be a little bit careful not to go out too far. I don't know if that starport was for raids or for dropships. I would imagine for dropships. So if Fantasy, like, commits too many units out on the field, then the drop could do a lot of damage. Meanwhile, nice little mine clearing there from Classic. Of course, Marines are not useful at all in TVT, except for like in the very, very early game. It's not like in StarCraft 2 where you can actually go, mass Marine tank. In Brood War, it's basically always mech. Its bio is just not very effective. And so, he had those couple of Marines and he just went mine clearing with them. Very nice. So, looks like, dropship is on the way, as predicted, but I think Fantasy did he keep most of his units as natural? Just as I say that, I'm looking at the minimap, and it looks like Fantasy is actually moving out with all his units. So this drop could actually be very, very bad for Fantasy. Oh man, look at this. Oh, he's sending all his units out to contain. Now he's gonna have nothing to defend his base. The best thing Fantasy can hope for right now is that he's gonna have a round of units pop out from his factories as soon as the drop comes in, so he can immediately use those reinforcements. But if he gets unlucky and he's like, halfway through a production cycle or just at the beginning of a production cycle, he could take a lot of damage. But I think he's at the end of a production cycle now, so I'm pretty sure some unit's gonna pop out in a second. It's actually a 4 Goliath drop here, very, very interesting, and Fantasy immediately turning around with his ground army, and it looks like a Vulture pops out. That's not going to do anything against Goliaths. Fantasy losing some SCVs, but no, a tank does pop out. A couple of tanks do pop out. As I said, he was at the end of the production cycle, so not going to take too much damage, just losing a couple of SCVs there. But the dropship is going to go to the natural, now going to try and grab a couple more kills here. The tank's not quite as mobile, and looks like there's actually not enough space here, so he's having a bit of a hard time dropping there. He does pick off one more SCV. And looks like a starport now being made for Fantasy. Fantasy though, oh man, 2 more dropships actually going out for Classic. Classic already up at 3 dropships. I mean, you know, mass dropship play is pretty standard in mid and late game TVT, but to have 3 dropships already at this point in the game, that's seems a bit fast to me. But I do like this strategy, although the second and third dropship did get spotted by spider mines, but I'm not actually sure if Fantasy was paying attention to that though, considering he was busy defending the drop in his main. But you know, as a pro gamer, I'm pretty sure he would have seen that, and he has actually pulled all his units back here, so he's not going to take too much damage, I think. Yeah, it looks like Classic, he sees all the units left behind, so he's going to move back, but it looks like some vultures moving out now. Going to be a bit of a vulture engagement in the middle, and actually it looks like Classic is now the one that's going to contain Fantasy. Wow, what a reversal here, oh my goodness. Fantasy was the one who was putting on the early pressure with the mines and sending out his forces, and yet suddenly with some nice little dropship play here, Classic is the one that's semi-containing Fantasy, but it looks like Fantasy is going to slightly outnumber him on the ground. Of course, Classic has been investing those resources in the dropship production, so doesn't quite have as big a standing army. Although, having said that, 94 supply for Classic against just a 71 supply for Fantasy. Classic has somehow come out really far ahead here. I mean, he did have a slight build order advantage, going 1 rack CC against a 1 fact CC, but still very nice stuff from Classic. And looks like, oh no, Classic though making a mistake here. Gonna lose not a tank to mines. Wow, that was interesting. Meanwhile, continue to use these dropships to help spot, drop some units on top of siege tanks. Good stuff here, just holding this ridge outside Fantasy's base. Fantasy contained on his 2 bases, and Classic reinforcing the contain. Looks like, now switching into cloak raids. Very intelligent move from Classic. It's going to be interesting because Fantasy, in response to this, might try a counter drop of his own. And if he gets his dropships intercepted by raids, that would be so horrible for him. But it looks like he's going to grab the spotting dropship here of Classic, so he's going to kind of deny that vision for Classic's tanks. Of course, tanks shoot farther than they can see, so you always want a floating building or a dropship or a wraith or something flying ahead of your tanks to spot for them. Obviously, you can't do it with a ground unit because they just get obliterated by your opponent's tanks. In the meantime, something's heading over to the top left there. Is that an SCV or a scouting vulture or something? I'm not really sure, but Classic does have an SCV at his 3rd at the 9 o'clock, but he can't make anything there because there is the mine blocking it. He can just make an off-place command center though, and just send a unit over there later and scan it. So he's not going to do that. Meanwhile, do we have a push out here for Fantasy? He's inching his way forward, but a lot of spider mines in good positions from Classic as well. Very, very difficult for Fantasy to actually break out of this, but it looks like his vultures are going to make short work of Classic's vultures, but tanks and Goliath remaining here. It looks like it's not going to happen. And Classic holds the ridge here. Fantasy is just looking like he's being completely outplayed. I can't believe I'm saying this. I mean, Classic outplaying Fantasy in a TVT? If you told me that, I would have called you crazy. You know, last series even. At the start of this game, I was like, there's no way Classic is going to beat Fantasy, and yet here we are. I mean, this is partially from the build order, but you can't even say really that it was a build order loss. I mean, it wasn't that bad. And Classic has been playing this really, really well this whole game, so wow. Kudos to Classic. Anyway, X-Pac is saying Classic is a TVT sniper. I guess that would definitely contribute to that. But, I mean, he has beaten Flash, so, maybe he's, amazing. But Fantasy's TVT, though, is superb, so, still. Anyway, it looks like SCV, is he going to get denied? Yes, indeed, going to slow that 3rd command center down, but it doesn't really matter, because even if the command center is slowed, Fantasy can't take a 3rd at all. He just can't take it, period. He's stuck in his base. And I'm not even sure how he's supposed to break out now, because that is such a sick position on that ridge, on that high ground ridge. So brutal. Meanwhile, a second starboard actually going up for Classic. Looks like he's actually switching into mass Wraith production here. We already saw he got Cloak on his Wraiths. Fantasy, meanwhile, is making a third command center, but there's no way he can secure it. Although it looks like he's going to try and do some drops here on the third base ridge, and it looks like he is going to clean it up, but now the Cloaked Wraiths have been revealed. And Fantasy's going to have to pull back a little bit, but he is getting position. He's got to be a little bit careful. There's only one Goliath there. So Classic could definitely pick that off with his Cloak Wraith and then just get the siege tanks for free. Oh man, and that's exactly what's going on here. The Goliath has gone down. These 3 tanks are sitting ducks. Oh no, free pickings for the Wraiths. Fantasy is getting picked apart. I can't believe it. I cannot believe he's going to try and repair that. It's probably enough, actually. But, oh no, the dropship's going to get intercepted. One dropship does not go down, actually. I can't believe the dropship didn't go down there. It must have, like, 1 hit left on it or something. That's actually a bit ridiculous. So, Fantasy somehow manages to secure this, but now Classic is expanding yet again, taking the top left main as his 4th base. Even if Fantasy does somehow manage to get this position, he's still going to be behind on the Expos. And it looks like Classic actually took the opportunity to start pushing in towards the natural, but Fantasy had a good defensive position. Is it going to be enough? It looks like it might actually be enough here. More reinforcements coming in for Classic, so Fantasy looks like might have overcommitted, trying to take this high ground at his 3rd. Now got not enough units defending his natural. He's now having to ferry units back, but now the Wraiths go in. Look at this. Fantasy brings the Goliaths back, and now the Wraiths picking off the dropships. There's nothing he can do to save the tanks anymore. He's lost his dropships. He's floating his command center out, but Fantasy is so dead. There's nothing he can do now. He's down 68 supply against 127 supply for Classic. He's flooding out his command center, but really, what, you're gonna mine from that? Seriously, dude? No, you're not. There's the STX coach. And GG from Fantasy! Classic taking out Fantasy in set number 1 here. Fantasy with a little, oh well. Wow. Wow. Classic. I'm actually really impressed by that game. That was really nice. I think even without a build order advantage, at the level he was playing, Classic would have done a really nice job against Fantasy anyway. Wow. Sweet. So, STX going to take game number 1, but that's alright. SK still has plenty of Gosu Brood Wars left. So they can definitely make a comeback here, and even if not, they can win the StarCraft 2 portion. Best doesn't look very happy there. Is it just me, or do like more than half the players have non-natural hair colors on these teams?